Hello Flosstube, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel. This is my quilting and Flosstube series here on my YouTube channel, and I am so grateful for you joining me today. To everyone who has just subscribed, welcome. Thank you guys. I love seeing you here, and to everyone who is returning, welcome back. I have enjoyed another week of stitching, and I hope you have as well. Today I have quite a lot to talk about. We are going to go over a little bit of Q&A. I had quite a few questions from last week, so we're going to do some Q&A. I have a couple of finishes. I have some whips. I want to talk about SALs that are going on, and I also want to talk about my SAL. If you are part of my Facebook group, that post actually went out about an hour before this video released, just kind of as a perk. I also let my Facebook group choose the spring SAL that we are going to be doing, just kind of as something fun. So if you haven't joined my Facebook group, there is a link down in the description. We would love to have you over there. I picked two charts personally that I want to stitch, and then I did a poll and let the community decide. So I have a lot of information to go over. I'm going to go over all of that with you guys today, talk about start dates and supplies and all of that good stuff. And then I have haul. I've been on a real shopping kick. So I have a little bit of haul. I do want to talk about, I think I mentioned upcoming SALs or SALs that are going on. SALs that are going on, SALs that are starting, all of that good stuff. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I know I touched on it last week, but I want to talk about that a little bit more. I have giveaways from last week, plus we'll have a few giveaways this week. So let's go ahead and jump in. As always, I do have timestamps down below the video in the description for your convenience. So if you want to go back and read, if you want to go back and listen to the information about the SAL, you can easily do that again. Or if you want to jump ahead, to giveaways and whatnot, it just makes it very easy to find what you're looking for in the video. So I do put timestamps down below. I also try to link absolutely everything that I can in the video if I have a link for it. There are some times that I just simply can't do that, but I do want to, I'll kind of talk more about that as we get into my whips, because something I didn't have a link for, I can at least direct you in the right direction now. So let's go ahead and go to Q&A. So Q&A, actually, back it up. First thing I do want to say, I loved reading everyone's comments left last week about your favorite designers. Thank you guys for sharing with me. I loved reading through all of your comments. I hope that you all read through each other's comments too. You maybe learned about some designers that you didn't know about. There were some new to me designers, so I absolutely love that. I thought that was fantastic. And I do want to mention that a viewer had left a comment, and she said she keeps a pen and paper handy during Flosstube so she can write things down. So Joanna, thank you for that suggestion. I want to mention that before we dive in, because I think that's a great suggestion. So thank you, Joanna. The other thing I want to talk about is people have left some comments saying, they don't have like an LNS, they don't have Hobby Lobby nearby. And I just wanted to talk about that because I very much understand. For 43 years of my life, I lived in a rural community, a rural farming community, and we had Walmart and Dillon's. Dillon's is a grocery store, Kroger. For those who don't know, it was only like in the last, I want to say 7 to 10 years, I don't know how long we had it, that I lived there, that we had Hobby Lobby, maybe not even that long. And actually it's funny, since I moved, the Hobby Lobby closed. We couldn't even maintain that. So no local needlework stores, no quilting stores, no card making, stamping stores, no Michaels, no Target, no Joann's. So I very much understand. I understand that it's not accessible to everyone. It is really, where I've moved, we are very close. It's about a 12 to 15-minute drive for me to, anything I want to get to, which is, I'm so grateful for. But I just want to say, I understand. I don't ever want to make anyone feel that we all have access to those things all the time, because I remember how I felt years ago, and I don't want anyone to feel that way. I know it's kind of hard, and I know it's disappointing. I used to save up and like go on a day trip to where I live now, and it would take all day. We'd get up early, we'd come, we'd do all of our shopping and hope we could hit everything. And a lot of times we couldn't, and then drive back home. And so I guess what I'm saying is, I just don't want anyone to feel like, let that keep you from creating. There are ways around it. Online shopping, luckily for us, online shopping is super accessible now, which is wonderful. So I guess I just wanted to mention that. Another little note before we jump into Q&A. I want to encourage everyone to please check the date of the video and check that you are leaving a comment on the most recent video for a prize. I had a bunch of people leaving comments for the previous week's video for prizes last week for whatever reason. And I just make sure that when you leave a comment that there isn't a more recent video, and you can click videos on my page. And I do have a Flosstube, what is that called? Playlist. So that should help with what video is the most recent. I just don't want anyone to be disappointed that they left comments on a video where I've already chosen winners. Okay. I had a couple more things. I actually have a lot to talk about before we get to Q&A. I'm so sorry. Button tutorial. I asked if you guys wanted a covered button tutorial. I had a lot of yeses. I am working on that. In fact, I'll just show you a little preview of that today. I will have that up this week, so stay tuned for that. I'm really excited to share that with you. I'm going to do my spring SAL announcement. And then the 1/1 and 1/2, Mrs. B8T left me a comment, and she said in the Bonnie and Camille book, there is a great photo of that. So I am going to do a little insert right here to show you that. I just took a little picture of it to insert it in here because she said it's in that book, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm stitching the chart from that book and I've never even looked at it. So I thank you so much for mentioning that, because I think that is the best example of, hopefully the visual example will be better than me trying to explain it, I guess is what I want to say. So here is that. I have not scheduled the Stitch With Me live yet. I actually wasn't feeling great this week. I was going to try to fit it in this week, and that just wasn't going to happen. So I will be scheduling a Stitch With Me prior to our SAL, just something kind of fun and low key. And now let's go ahead and jump into Q&A. I found the question from last week that I didn't copy and paste the whole thing. It was, where do I get my quilt labels? They are from Sweetwater. It is one of my favorite quilt designers. They design fabric for Moda, and I will put a link down below to where you can join their club. Stephanie's Craft Studio. Why do you use batting under your cross stitch? When I am mounting my cross stitch on a backer board or an ornament, for me personally, and this is a personal preference, it's completely personal preference, I like how the batting makes my stitch look. I think it lays nicer. I find it easier to kind of maneuver it and to get it lined up better. I like that little bit of puffiness to it. but if you don't have to use it. So it's completely personal preference. Cindy, I know you've probably said this in the past, but where do you get your acrylic floss drops? They actually were in that video in the description, and I am going to make that one of the permanent things down at the very bottom. I have most often asked questions I have added to that list, and that is just something I'll add to the list because I am getting a lot of questions. So there is a link in the description. Lucille, I have the Heart in Hand Halloween Tiny Town, and could I do it on 14 count? And if so, could I just follow the pattern and I guess it would be bigger? Yes, it will be bigger. And I wanted to let you know that on Chantal's 141 design, she has done some tutorials for her backer she created for it. And a couple of the stitches, a couple of the examples, I want to say the Christmas for sure was stitched on 14 count, and she shows it on the backer. I know, I shouldn't say I know, I think she did the Valentines or the big hearted tiny town on 32, and I can't remember what size Halloween is on. But yes, use the Fat Quarter Shop cross stitch calculator or another cross stitch calculator you find online. I have the link down in the description down at the bottom. I use it all the time. I noticed Eva in my Facebook group said she lives by that. Me too. I pull it up all the time. It helps me figure out fabric, the size, what's going to fit. It's just a very, very useful tool. Absolutely, stitch it on what you want. You do not have to stitch it on the called for fabric ever, or use the called for floss. You can use what you want. No rules. Lucille also says, how do I join in on giveaways? You leave a comment, and you leave a comment with the number of the item that you're interested in. So I always explain that. I shouldn't say always. I've not always done a good job at that. I have been trying to do better about explaining that during the giveaway, and I will do so today. Look what's in my hoop. Can I ask where your red heart earrings that you wore in the video are from? Oh, good. I have them on again today. I actually taught a card making a live class this morning, and it was a Valentine's theme, so I've got all my Valentines on. These are Kendra Scott. They're from this year's release, and they had earrings and a little necklace. So Kendra Scott is where I got them. Sleepless for way too long. Let's see, how is it when you stitch one stitch at a time? Oh, yes. How is it when you stitch one stitch at a time? Is there a way to replicate the way the back of the project looks when one does the half stitch one way and then comes back completing the stitch? So what she's asking is with like DMC, where like if you're stitching a whole row, you go all the way across one way and come all the way back the other. With variegated floss, the recommendation is to do one stitch at a time, so you get the maximum variegation. Now, I will tell you, if you follow Kimberly Jolly at Fat Quarter Shop, she uses the loop method, which is, I shouldn't say not recommended, but not recommended for variegated floss, and she does it that way. I believe she does it that way, because she said she still sees some variegation. It's not as much maybe as you see. I say do it however you want. I don't worry about the backs too much. I will try to show you my back. My back of Big Hearted Tiny Town's a mess. So, but I'm going to show it to you. But I know what you're saying. There is not a way to replicate that as far as I know. Cindy says, a finishing question. I am not a quilter or sewer, but I am a paper crafter. I have lots of scrapbook paper. Could that be used in finishing projects instead of using fabric? Yes, I believe it can. I feel like at one point I saw someone use that scrapbook paper to do that, but I can't tell you where or when I saw that. You can, but I will tell you, I didn't sew anything for my finish. I glued it down or taped it down. So even if you want to finish with fabric, there are lots of ways to finish, like on the backer boards and things like that, where you're not sewing. But yeah, give it a try. Definitely. There's no rules. Okay, we're going to go to FFOs. So fully finished objects. And I have two today. I have a whole stack on the corner of my desk that I wanted to get to this week, and I just simply did not get to everything. The first thing is I showed you this free stitch. This is from Liz Matthews. This is her Arrow Celebration Small. This is a free chart from her website. I just try not to show any charts here, even if they are free. So that's why I have it folded like this, but I do have a link to where you can go to download this. She has several freebies on there, but I thought it was perfect for Valentine's Day, and I got super inspired, and I went ahead and just stitched it all up, and I fully finished it into a pillow. So I maybe didn't get as much stitching on as many things this week as I wanted to, but I did finish 2 things completely, and well, start and finish. And then I also sewed some stuff. Now these are sewn because they are pillows, but this is my finish of the what's it called, Arrow Celebration. I call it the Always Arrow, but that's not the name of it. I just did a little pillow. I did have someone in my Facebook group ask me the size. I will tell you, I didn't do a size. So how I did this was first off, I stitched this on 36 count Duxbury by Fox and Rabbit using Classic Colorworks Black Coffee Floss. I love one color floss. It was a very fast stitch. I stitched it super, super quick, and I love it. So what I did was, when I was finished, I ironed on some interfacing on the back, and the interfacing I was going to show everybody because I have a whole bolt of it. Is that even right? This is 911 FF Fusible Featherweight from Petal. I do have a link. I use this a lot because there's a lot of things I use it for, so I buy it by the bolt when I get it. I ironed that to the back of my cross stitch. I ironed my cross stitch really well first. I ironed it from the back. Then I fused on the interfacing, and then I cut. Well, I measured and drew lines before I cut, but I measured 1 inch from the furthest stitch on each side. So the top, the bottom, so 1 inch from the Y, 1 inch from the L, and then 1 inch from the tip and the end of the arrow. And so it's got 1 inch border all the way around, and then I cut it out. And then I didn't even measure it. I took my backing fabric, which this is, I believe, a Sweetwater fabric, the same company that makes the labels I get. And I also put fusible interfacing on it. I find that it just stands up. Or holds up a little better. You don't have to. That's just my personal preference. I found I have not always done that. It's just something I started to do. And I sewed them together. I did leave an opening down at the bottom. I did a blind stitch to shut it. It didn't have to be super, super tidy because I did cover up all of the seams with this awesome little pleated ribbon. It's old ribbon. My paper crafters are going to know. In fact, a couple of the gals in my Facebook group said, "That's Stampin' Up! Ribbon." They knew what it was right away. And it is. I have this in a pink, like a dusty rose pink, blue, and then this beautiful red. And it was just the perfect accent. I loved it around the sides. And then these pins are from Just Another Button Company. And it just adds a really fun touch. I filled my pillow with a combination of polyfill and then poly pellets. And the poly pellets are actually right here, so let me grab them. I also have the crushed walnut shells, but I didn't have quite enough. So I actually filled it with that first, and it wasn't filling great. So I actually filled my pillow with a combination of regular polyfill to round out the corners really nice. And then I did put in some of these, and these are amazing because it gives it a little bit of weight. It gives it a little bit of weight, but it gives it a little bit more of that pin cushion texture, and I find that it looks nicer in the display bowl. So that is my first FFO, and I love it. And so giddy. Liz Matthews actually commented on my story, and she was so kind and so nice, and I would love to meet her in real life. She seems so sweet. And very excited to stitch maybe some other things from her this coming a little bit later this year. So my second FFO is another freebie. There have been so many good freebies. In fact, I'm going to do a whole freebie section here. If you have watched Jessica the Sweetwater Stitcher's video from this past Thursday, she actually has so many freebies and information, so please check out her video because it's just chock full of great information. So very, very excited about that. But I finished Cherry Hill Stitchery. Happy Valentine's Day. This was a stitch along, kind of celebrating her new Facebook group this whole month. And the hashtag for this, which you guys, I'm horrible at announcing. So my new thing starting this week is I'm going to try to put those on the screen for you. If you follow the hashtags, you can see what everybody else is doing. There have been some beautiful color combinations with this stitch. People have changed the colors and it's just been amazing. I used, and I'm going to have to look it up. I did the same thing. I filled that with polyfill and poly pellets, but this is R&R Mayflower Mocha. And what size count is it? 32 count linen is what I stitched this on. And it is a beautiful color of linen. And then I completely picked my own colors. I'll tell you what colors I chose. I mean, I did kind of follow her chart. I'll show it. She does have a beautiful printout. I love Cherry Hill Stitchery. You guys probably already know that. So here is her chart. It's in black and white as well as in color. And I just pulled some Classic Colorworks floss. And I will tell you that when I started stitching this, I did not like the green I was using. I had started the green using 4-leaf clover. It was too light. So I ripped out, I think I'd only done this right here. So I ripped all the green out and I used steamed broccoli instead. Black coffee, ribbon red, and then I used Weeks Dye Works Whitewash. And it's just a little pincushion pillow. This is some Sweetwater fabric on the back. I did the same thing. I sewed it, I blind stitched the bottom, and then this is, I did stitch on some rickrack around the border. This is Lady Dot Creates, and I was going to tell you the color if I can find it. I don't see the color on here. I'm so sorry, but here's what the rickrack looks like, and it's hand dyed, and so it was really soft. But I did hand stitch it on. I hand stitched this ribbon on too. It is time consuming. Each of these took, well, this one took longer because I ripped it out twice. It wasn't all the way around, but I didn't like two of my starts, so I started over. Probably an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, probably an hour and a half. I was tired and not doing very good. So it does take a little bit of time. Here's my thought about this. You can finish it however you want. For me personally, I took all the time to stitch it. I don't want to use glue. If I ever wanted to pull this apart and let's say frame it or sew it into a different kind of pillow, I wouldn't be dealing with glue. I could take some sharp scissors, snip the threads, pull the rickrack off, unpick, take a seam ripper carefully and unpick this from the back, and I could really pull it apart and do something else. I don't really intend to do that, but that's my thought process. I feel like I've spent the time stitching it. I just take a little bit of time to stitch it on. It would be quicker to use glue, I know, but I just use a needle and thread and go ahead and stitch it on. So here are my two FFOs. Perfect for dough bowls. This one obviously has a little bit more decorative with the pins. I thought I would add pins and things to this or a bow, and I just didn't like any of it. Oh, I just love, it's like a little bean bag. I love it. I actually kind of like it a little bit like this. So I'm very happy with how both of these turned out. Thank you so much to Liz Matthews and also to Cherry Hill Stitchery for their wonderful free charts. Absolutely amazing. All right, let's go over my whips, SALs, anything else that I stitched on this week. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I did not get quite as much stitching time. I felt like I didn't. Finishing those two pillows, you know, took quite a bit of time. So I should give myself a little break. The first thing, I am going to do a button tutorial, and I am also going to finish my hive rules from last year. I bought a finishing piece. It's been back behind the door in my office, the paddle I bought, and I want to get that finished, because the board I bought it on clearance from the spring shop at Hobby Lobby, and maybe they will have it again this year. But I want to do a covered button in the middle of my bow. So I stitched the bee from one of the bees from Hive Rules. I used a scrap of fabric. This is 25 count antique white Lugana, same fabric I used for my Hive Rules stitch, and so this will be one of the buttons that I finish in the button tutorial. So that's one little thing that I did this week, and I can't wait to show you that next week. The other things, I did work on another free chart. And Emily from Salt and Pepper Stitching has, I'm going to just flash it because I don't have a copy, but this is what I got a lot of questions. Can I have a link to the love heart chart? And I didn't have one because you just needed to go to her Instagram and screenshot it and then print it out, or stitch from your phone or your tablet or whatever. She started a Facebook group, and you can get that there. So I'm going to put a link, join her Facebook group, answer her questions, agree to the rules, all that good stuff. And I'm really excited about that. So it's just this. There's my little brief flash. And then I have something funny. Before I show you my stitch, I thought this was done. I finished it pretty late. Wednesday or Thursday evening. I don't remember. I wasn't feeling great, remember? And it was late, and I thought I was all done, and I looked at it, and I forgot like the little red heart that goes over here. I forgot that little heart, so I need to finish that. This is stitched on 36 count Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim. Had to think about it, using the called for DMC floss. I know it looks pretty light here. Maybe look at this behind it. There we go. I'm really excited to get this one finished. I'm going to do it in a heart shape, kind of like she showed. I did put my needle back, so I'm glad I can just go stitch that up. Those little hearts will be stitched immediately. But I have a really cute finish idea for this as well. Just need to get that done. So that is one of the other things I worked on. And then I did work on Big Hearted Tiny Town. This is a SAL by Jessica the Sweetwater Stitcher and Mrs. Jones Stitches. I want to make sure that I said that correctly because yes, they're doing a SAL. I had hoped to be a little further before I showed this to you, but I set it aside to do finishes. So this is the Heart in Hand. I love these tiny towns. I want to stitch all of them. I think I have all of the charts now that are out so far. I know she's coming out with another one, I believe, at Market. So I definitely need to get stitching. I have this rolled up even, and my floss in here. I think I have about half of this done. I'm at the halfway point. I think I have a couple little things to fill in, like the legs on the post box, the smoke coming out of the chimney, and the other flower on the other side of the house. But for all intent and purposes, I have about half of this done. So I'm very happy with this. I am stitching on 32 count Pink Splash Lugana using all the called for floss 2/2. And I really do think I'm going to turn this into a drum. I'm excited about it. We shall see how that goes. But the colors are really pretty. All these pinks and browns. So pretty. I am loving stitching this and hope to have quite a bit more of this. Would love to have that as a this year Valentine's finish. And that is really it for whips this week. So I do want to talk about some upcoming SALs, and I know I mentioned last week, but I'm going to pop a picture up here on the screen. The Fat Quarter Shop has the Love Potion Mystery SAL starting here in February, I believe February the 3rd. I will be using the same pink splash Lugana. It's underneath something. I'm not going to pull it out that I just showed you. I'm going to use the called for. Let's just use my big hearted SAL piece, shall we? I'm going to use the called for Classic Colorworks floss to stitch mine. They stitch theirs on white. I'm going to use the pink splash. I'm here for it. Look how the colors look against the pink splash. So that is going to be starting here very soon. I'm going to stitch along with Fat Quarter Shop. I'm very excited about that. If you purchase your pattern before February 3rd, you'll receive the supply list immediately. It's a mystery stitch along. So if you want to go ahead and get that purchased, get your supplies, every Friday, Fat Quarter Shop will send you out the next part of the chart, and it's going to be a good time. So that is fun. The second thing, and I am going to pop a picture up right here on the screen, is the Bountiful Stitch Along from Fat Quarter Shop. It is their free stitch along that they do each year where they raise money for Make-A-Wish. I know I mentioned it last week, and I shared a photo last night on Instagram showing the fabric I chose and the floss that I'm starting with. It's at least my starter. I think that's what I'm going to use. I don't know that I'll add anything to it. I may take something away if I don't like something. But I'm not using the called for floss. I'm not using the called for fabric. I totally chose my own. I took my time. You can see from the photo, they went very bright, very, very bright spring, I would call it. And I don't want to go super moody or anything like that, but I kind of am doing what I'm going to call a more muted palette, inspired by Cecilia Turner of Heart and Hand. These colors mostly come from her, what's that chart called? Spring Doodles, I think. I picked up that chart because I wanted to see the floss, and then I ended up getting some of that. So let me show you. I'm going to stitch mine. This is that same Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim that I stitched the little heart that I just showed you on. I'm going to do it on 36 count. The sample from Fat Quarter Shop is 14, so this will be quite a bit smaller. And these are the colors. I should have got a design board. These are the colors I am choosing to use for mine. So it's a little bit more muted palette. You can definitely see that from the graphic that I put up a little bit ago. It's more muted greens. Muted or mauve-y pinks instead of like the bright pink of my sweater, muted blues, and then like more of golden-ish yellows, I would say. I will put the colors I'm using down below. It's mostly Classic Colorworks with a couple of weeks in there, but I'm very happy with it. I've taken, oh, there went all my papers. I have taken a lot of time this week, a lot of time, and last week, going back and forth, doing floss tosses on fabric. I hope that I like it. We shall see. Fat Quarter Shop does ask for a donation to use. The patterns will all be free. I don't think it starts till March. I will see if I have that on here. You heard me just drop everything on the floor, so let me let's see. And again, I just want to remind everyone, the donations from the community a couple weeks ago were about 12,000. I'm not quite sure where they're at now. When they reach their first milestone of 20,000, they release fabric requirements and the cross-stitch supplies list. And the milestones are just important to help them reach their goal. Their goal is raising $100,000 for Make-A-Wish. I talked about it last week. I love that they do this and that they grant so many wishes. So I will be stitching along with that too. Please join me. If you want to stitch just like they're doing, if you want to pick your own colors. Last year I did patriotic colors. I still need to finish that stitch, so maybe I'll pull that out and get that going. I'm chose muted colors. You can definitely copy what I'm doing if you like that. So, you know, whatever you want to do. The other SAL, and it starts, I want to say, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, Chantal. Monday? Maybe? I don't know. But she is doing, and I did pick up my chart, so I'm going to show it to you. Hands On Design has their new Mad for Plaid pattern, and Chantal designed the On the Edge backer board for it, which is available now. Mine is actually on my way to me. I decided to jump in and do this SAL. There will be some new charts being released, I believe, at Market, so you can switch it out even more. I'm kind of excited about it. I did get the Cosmo Floss ordered. You can use DMC. The conversion, I believe, is in the chart, and I'm just going to look for you real quick. Yep, the DMC conversion is in the chart for you. But I am going to stitch this with you guys. If you want to join in, join in. This has been sold out everywhere. I know shops are restocking. I think Chantal got some more in her shop. I will tell you, I picked mine up at my LNS Saturday. I actually emailed them and they pulled it aside for me. And when I went to pick it up on Saturday, they had quite a few of these. So my LNS does ship. I did talk to them about it because someone in my Facebook group wanted to know if you could, you know, call them and order things. You can call them and see if they have certain charts. They will kit it up for you if you know the fabric and the floss and all of that. If you want it just like this, they will pull all of it and kit it for you. So call them if you want to. I will have their information down in the description. They are a lovely shop. I am very blessed to have a shop so close. I didn't know about it for such a long time, and I feel like such a dummy. But we are frequent flyers now, Lori and I. So I've sucked my friend Lori in. But please join in. I'm excited. I haven't decided how I'm going to finish. If I'm going to finish on the edge like everybody else. I do encourage you, please watch Kathy's video where she shows how she's attaching her stitches to the board. Brilliant. I hadn't watched the whole thing, and Chantal told me how she's attaching it, and it's just so good. There's going to be tutorials from Chantal, from Kathy. I'm very, very excited. I think this will be a very fun stitch along. It looks like a lot of people are stitching along because the Cosmo Floss is hard to find, because I think a lot of people are going to use it. But again, there is a DMC conversion. And the charts, because they're paper charts, because it's new, they are kind of hard to find and they keep selling out. But I know they're being restocked. So if you're interested, check out Call Heart's Desire, because they had these up on their little they have on their front desk where you pay. All of the new stuff. They had a lot of Heart and Hands new, like collector heart charts, all of the Big City Christmas, trying to think what else. They had a lot of the new stuff there. So very exciting. So that is another stitch along, and I'm going to jump in and participate. All right, we've talked about some stitch alongs. I think it is time to talk about my stitch along. You guys have been eagerly awaiting. I just want to say thank you to everyone for being very patient while I came up with something. The end of the year was crazy. After we finished the old-fashioned SAL, I really just needed a break, plus the holidays, and you guys had the holidays too. Stitching time was often very, very limited, and so it was nice to have a little downtime. The problem was, because I didn't plan anything, really, January was here and gone. So winter stitching for a SAL was kind of out. Everyone's stitching Valentine's right now. So starting a Valentine's SAL right now is kind of out because I think everybody's looking ahead to spring. So I really thought about this, and I was inspired, and I had mentioned in, I think, last week's video or the week before, what do you think about a spring SAL? I don't have any spring stitches. I don't think I have any. It's not something that I tend to be like, yes, I want to stitch that. You know, fall and Halloween, you know how I am with those, and Christmas too, and apparently winter and snowmen. It's been hard. However, I really looked. I looked at some charts I had. I also looked at charts on my wish list, and I picked a couple that I wanted to stitch. And I have all of this information in my Facebook group when I did the poll, but I had some requirements for myself picking a SAL that I do with my community here. And I do want to talk about that really quick because it's not like everybody else's SALs, and that's totally fine. I am doing this specifically for you guys. The Mad for Plaid, it's a paper pattern only. There's not a PDF right now. So my first requirement for my SAL with you guys, at least for right now, is there a PDF version? If there's paper too, that's fantastic, but is there a PDF version? Because I have a lot of international friends or just people who prefer PDFs who would like to join in. And so that is something that I really put a lot of thought into my choices. My number one, is it something I personally want to stitch? Because if it's not something I want to stitch, it's going to be hard to motivate. So it has to be something I want to stitch. Is there a PDF available? And then we had done a small with our autumn small, the little pillow, and then the old-fashioned was a pretty big chart. So I was looking for something medium. That's just kind of how I was feeling about it. So that was my third requirement. And then my fourth requirement, are there DMC choices? If you want to do DMC, if you want it to be a little more economical, that's not always going to be a requirement when I do a SAL at all. But this, most of the time, at least for these first few that I've done with you guys, it is something that I look at. Even if you choose to do the fancy floss or the specialty floss in a chart, is there a DMC conversion for those who want to stitch DMC? So that's just my personal how I look at picking a chart, and it's probably explains maybe a little bit to you guys why it takes me so long to figure it out. But then I just, on a wild whim, I'm not even kidding, I sat down at my computer with my Facebook group and decided to let you guys pick. And the results are in, and we are going to be stitching the hands-on design, more chocolate bunnies. That was one of the choices. The other choice was Cherry Hill Stitchery Hope. And I know it was pretty close for a long, long time. In fact, it's still not that big of a difference. Both feature some bunnies. Both are what I would consider more on the muted side instead of like very, very pastel-y bright. for spring. And because of that, and because obviously I picked these because I want to stitch them both, I will be stitching them both. More Chocolate Bunnies is going to be the organized SAL. The other one is actually going to be a finish that I do a finishing tutorial. So I will stitch it during this time, and that is the Cherry Hill Stitchery Hope. And I'm going to show you More Chocolate Bunnies on the screen right now because I ordered mine from Kathy. If you order from her website, you can get the PDF or the paper pattern. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how you might want to do this because there is a few things to it. So I ordered it and it will be here on Monday. But she was really excited that we're going to do a SAL. Chantal actually told her, which is great. I'm so excited. And then she had some extra information. So I'm going to share all that with you guys right now. I know this is a lot of information. If you want to participate, we would love to have you. Again, it's More Chocolate Bunnies. And then I'm going to talk about the other chart here in a minute, and I will show it to you because I have it printed out. I already downloaded it. So it is going to be a 4-week SAL. The 5th week we'll be finishing. I'm going to follow my pretty much the same kind of format that I've done. Each week we will have a Stitch with Me live. We're going to stitch together. We're going to chat. It's just going to be informal and fun. I will start the chart with you that first night. I can't promise that I'll start each section with you. I'm going to try to stitch ahead just a little bit more, but I will be stitching with you guys each week. Then the chart, the paper chart, and the reason I ordered the paper chart for myself, it comes with the mini buttons that you can add for the tails on the bunny. You do not have to do that. You can use buttons that you have, or you can leave the buttons off. You could put pom-poms or little whatever on your bunnies. You can stitch your bunnies' tails instead of doing the extra. I am just telling you that the buttons come with the paper chart. You can get your paper chart lots of places. I know I mentioned the Mad for Plaid is available at my LNS. So is More Chocolate Bunnies. So if you are calling, you could definitely see if they would throw that one in as well. So that is the paper chart. But from Hands-On Design, and I do have a link, you can choose paper or PDF. So my international friends can participate. I know there was some confusion. I think a couple people thought that it was only paper, but my requirement is the chart has to be in PDF to participate in for my SALs. That is not all SALs. That is just for me personally so that international friends can join in. And then let's see, Fat Quarter Shop had the paper chart. I do think it was sold out as the time of filming. I think some people already grabbed it. I did see it at 123 Stitch. And again, I saw it at my LNS. If you have an LNS, call them, visit, check it out, or your favorite shops. Oh. Floss. So the example was stitched with Sulky Floss. And Kathy does have a floss pack for this chart. And I did order it. I will be stitching with the Sulkies. I've never done that before, so I thought it would be really fun. I want to try them, but she has DMC conversions. I actually do have those colors, and those are in the Facebook post. On my Facebook page, I listed those out for you guys because she doesn't list them on her site. I just listed those out because I knew what they were. So you can definitely stitch it in DMC. Excellent. Kathy, because when she found out we were stitching this, she had a great little bonus that I didn't realize. She has another chart that uses those sulky colors. So if you do buy the Sulky pack and you would like to stitch some more things with that, her Hop On In, INN chart, which also is an Easter chart, and it's Darling, and I got it too, it uses the same floss. Now, that chart was only in paper, but when Kathy found out that we were going to do this, she made it available in PDF as well. So if you want to purchase both and stitch both, you can. Thank you, Kathy. That was so amazing of her. I mean, she literally did it that night. I couldn't believe it. I'm just so honored and that she was excited that we want to do this stitch along. And so just again, I'm very, very grateful to the cross stitch community, to Kathy. And then I know I mentioned to you guys that the 5th week of our SAL will be finishing. Chantal is designing a board. I tried to pick something from her shop that she already had, and I looked and looked, and I probably spent an hour and a half going through her shop trying to find something she already had that would fit this stitch. And I wanted it to fit whether you were going to stitch like a 1428 and then or the called for 1632. I'm going to stitch mine on 32 fabric, but I wanted it to be something that my 14 count Aida stitchers could also stitch on and finish. And so Chantal graciously agreed to resize something that she has to fit for all of us. So she is going to be making like a paddle cutting board that has a pocket on the front for the stitch. And the pocket's it's just a little shallow pocket, but you can tuck greenery and things inside to finish off the stitch for finishing. I'm going to show you guys some stuff I picked up that are maybe going to be used for finishing, but I'm very, very excited to see what she comes up with. As soon as it's available, I will add links to that. It's not available yet, but go ahead and get your charts, get your floss, and pick your fabric. I do have some suggestions for fabric, but use whatever you like. I actually think I'm going to use the called for. I feel like I can't remember right now. Maybe I wrote it down. Let me look. Fabric. The called for is 32 count Weeks Dye Works Aspen linen, and I am going to use that. But here's the thing. I feel like any sort of brown tan is going to be great. Or if you want to change the colors, anything you want. But vintage country mocha is always a good idea. It comes in lots of size counts of fabric. So anything you want to do there, I say do it. Now, you do not have to finish like I'm finishing. I do want to preface that. If you want to go to Hobby Lobby and find a finishing piece, if you want to sew it into a pillow, if you want to frame it, please feel free. I just like to offer that as an option and kind of as inspiration for you guys, just to show you some things that you can do. I'm sharing what I'm doing with my stitch, and I just like to share that with you guys in case it inspires you. So that is the SAL. I'm very, very excited. I'm surprised. I shouldn't say I'm surprised, but I'm a little surprised at how excited I am about an Easter SAL. I think this is perfect. I feel that same excitement that I felt for the other ones, and so I'm kind of glad I waited, and I'm going to have some Easter stitches. So yay. Very, very excited. Thank you guys for patience, and I hope you are excited as well. Okay. I think I touched on this, that the mini buttons come with the paper chart, not PDF. I do have a link in the description if you want to pick them up from Just Another Button Company if you get the PDF. Yep, Chantal, I talked about that. The last thing I want to talk about for the SAL is I will be doing giveaways for those who are stitching what we're stitching, the actual SAL. If you've already done that one, that's fantastic. It is not brand new, but if you want to stitch, please stitch. I am going to offer some specific giveaways, things like the backer boards. And I'll just tell you, I'm going to give away my finishing services. I'm not finishing. I'm not going to start finishing services. So I want to preface that with this, but I thought it would be fun to offer finishing at least 1 to 2 of your stitches. So these are things that I'll give away weekly. There will be a couple others, so stay tuned. I will announce them each week and tell you how you can win, but it is just something fun that I thought I could do for the community. So there will be that as well. All right. I think we have talked about all of that. Let's talk about free Valentine's charts. As I mentioned, Jessica, the Sweetwater Stitcher, had lots of good information for that, so I am only briefly going to touch on it. The first thing I did, I'm having a big hands-on design love right now, but I'm not going to show the chart, but this is, because it is free, but I just don't like to do that. Kathy does one of these each year for her anniversary with her husband, but she shares the chart with the community for free. And they're really nice. I mean, she does a beautiful handout and everything for it. I actually went and printed all of the past years. They are darling. This is this year's edition. It's Love You Too. And I'm going to tell you guys, when we were at the my local cross stitch shop, they had this printed out, like with the floss next to it, so you could just pick it up. Like you could take one of these and stitch it. And I thought that was so sweet. They also had the Erin Elizabeth chart, which I didn't print out. I have it somewhere. I do have it printed out. I just don't know where it is. I didn't pull it for today's video. So I thought that was really awesome that my shop did that. This is last year's. I'm just going to show you these really quick. I've already shown you all the other things I've stitched that were free. I love this one. Look at this little meant to be. I think this would be cute as part of the bee display as well. Love is Kind. Zheng in my Facebook group, she stitched this, like stitched and completed it like in one evening, and it's darling. With You I Am Home. This one, and my cross stitch shop had this one on display. They have one of these there. I thought it was so cute. It's one of my favorites. I want to stitch that. Oops. Well, apparently this one is on here twice. I don't know why. I love that one. That's Be Mine. That's sideways, but there we go. No. You Bring Peace to My Heart. So here's the fun thing. Kathy had all of these just scattered in her blog, and you kind of had to hunt and peck for them. My Heart Leaps Up. And then this is Love You More, and there's not a picture for this, but she has this on her Instagram, so check it out. She did like a cute little reel. Kathy went through, collected all of them, and put them in one post for you guys. So I have a link to her post. So grateful for her for sharing all of these. They are absolutely beautiful. Print them out, add them to your stash, start stitching, make sure you tag her so she can see it. Just really wonderful charts. And I am excited to add those to my Valentine stitching, probably for next year, unless I get a wild hair and think I can eke out one or two more. I want to. I just don't know if I can. This is something I shared early on in my Flosstube journey. It is hard to find. And it's hard to find because how you get it, I'll show it to you first. I want to stitch this. It's So Kelly, Sending Love. It's this darling bunny with hearts. This is not something you can go to her blog and download, at least not that I can find. You have to subscribe to her newsletter, and then I think she sends them out, but not all at once. Right now, if you subscribe, because I had to subscribe, I don't know how I got this one. I feel like I just downloaded it. But I couldn't find them. If you know you can, and tell me how, because I don't. But it's a cute, like, little Christmassy house right now is the free one you get when you sign up. So she has some really fun things, but it's a little hard to get. And then again, Erin Elizabeth has a really cute one that's free right now. Obviously the Liz Matthews one I showed you, the Cherry Hill Stitchery one I showed you, and the Salt and Pepper Stitching one. There's so many out there. I feel like there's so many really good Valentine's freebies. So hopefully that inspires you. Check those out, print them out, have a little fun. Let's do some haul. The first haul I'm going to show you is, of course, the chart, the other chart that was the choice, which is the Cherry Hill Stitchery Hope. I will be stitching this as well, and I am going to make mine into a pillow. So this will be a pillow. I'm going to stitch it with the called for floss. I have not decided on fabric yet, but I will decide soon. And this will be a finishing tutorial. More than likely, I'm going to show you how to fill it with the crushed walnut shells or the poly and the poly pellets mixture. It just depends, because I really love that. And I'm just going to show you how to finish it. We're probably going to finish it with like a cute little bow, maybe a covered button. We're going to have fun. So this will be a video tutorial, even though it didn't get picked. If this is the one you love, I know a lot of you love this one, stitch it and let's have a fun finishing tutorial. But I loved it, so it's getting stitched this year. And you can see from this that and from the one I picked, I'm going for a different color combo than maybe the traditional spring. The Fat Quarter Shop Stitch Along, the Bountiful Stitch Along, I talked about the colors. I was inspired by the colors from this chart from Heart and Hand. This is the Doodles Spring. I like these doodles. I think I would eventually like to stitch all of them, but this is the color combo that inspired me. And this little heart thing here is going to be a covered button. So stay tuned for my video tutorial on the covered buttons. But I picked up this because I love it. And because apparently I think I have lots of time to stitch. But that's okay. Very into Heart and Hand again. I picked up this one, creeping it around. I want to stitch this, but again, the jack-o'-lantern is going to be a covered button in my tutorial. A lot of these little icons. So look from your chart, look at your charts and pick little icons. The square dance, there's actually some of these for each month, but the hearts, I loved all of these hearts, and that's going to be, again, a little covered button. I did not get April, and I'm kind of bummed because I think I need to get April. Look at the carrots. I feel like we're going to need a covered button of a carrot, don't you? I did get the last Tiny Town that's out right now that I don't have. I got Spring. Spring needs to be stitched because I'm loving Valentine's. I love With Thy Needle and Thread patterns so much. This, I shared a picture of it in my Facebook group. My LNS had this stitched up as an example in their shop. I shared a picture of it and people were going crazy for it. This probably would have been my stitch along, but it's not in PDF. So it's not going to be like my organized stitch along, but stay tuned. You may see it being stitched up. I absolutely love it. I did get the Whisper Floss for the bunny tail. I picked it up at my LNS today. I got all of the, I haven't got all the floss. Yeah, that's what I was talking to a friend about. That I went to the store and got floss for the Hope, the Cherry Hill Stitchery Hope, and then kind of dummy didn't get it. But I'm really excited. I think this is beautiful. I'm excited to stitch that. I want to stitch all of the Brenda Gervais charts. So I know I'm probably not going to get this done this year. I'm just adding to my stash. I did reorganize my cross stitch binder by season because I feel like that's going to be a little more useful to me so that I can just pull charts I want to do and kit things up. This is the Holiday Hoopla Easter, also by With Thy Needle and Thread. Let's be honest, that's probably what I'm going to be doing. This was an example. I'm actually going to throw a picture up. This, and I'm going to, at this point, you will see I put a picture up of the finished example of the rabbit and the rose, but I'm going to throw a picture up right here. My LNS has this as a finished example. I would have bought this pattern when I was there a few weeks ago, but they didn't have it. I came home and searched. It was so hard to find. I'm trying to think where I found it. I have a link. I want to say the Kitten Stitcher, maybe. I'll add a link to it because it was still in stock. This is With Thy Needle and Thread, Merry Yuletide. This is a chart from 2012. It's old. But they had this finished. You could see the picture I showed into a pillow at my LNS. It's beautiful. I had to have it. It's not that impressive right here, but in the picture I showed you, it sold me. I have to stitch it. So I looked and looked. I found it. So it came home to live with me. I don't know when that's going to get stitched, but I'm very happy. And then I do want to share this. As I was looking at this, I bought this from my LNS today. And it came with the floss and the cute sunflower pin to finish. I live in Kansas, so the sunflower state. And my dad was a farmer for years and years before he retired. And so I really, and all my dad's family, my uncle, my grandpa, my uncles and grandpa. So it's just kind of something that's always been very special to me. And wheat harvest was always my favorite. Many happy memories, and I probably have mentioned this in many videos. I don't know if I've done it on Flosstube. Many happy memories of riding the combine with my dad. Late at night when I was older and I could drive out to the field myself and he'd pull around and pick me up and I'd just go round and round with him because, you know, it's harvest. You've got to get the wheat harvested before it rains or it hails and you lose the crop. And so when we were little, my mom would take us out and we would both ride. We were, you know, when we were little and we would both sit in the cab with Dad and ride around. Otherwise, we didn't see him. So it just, I don't know, it was really special. So I picked this up and my friend Lori did too. It's the Erica Michaels. And it's called Amber Waves Berries. First of all, I've not made berries and strawberries, and I've wanted to. And the wheat on these is beautiful. But I got to looking at this when I opened it up, and it is exclusive class design for Heart's Desire. It was a class in April of 2020, or it was supposed to be. I don't know. However, I hope they have classes again soon. I forgot to ask when I was there. I knew there was something I forgot to ask. I know Kathy from Hands On Design was there too because she has a chart on her website that was an exclusive to my LNS. Anyway, they have some more of these. So if you're interested, maybe this is meaningful to you too, check them out. Call the store. They have it all kitted up. And like I said, it came... Lori got it with the fabric too. I chose not to because I had some 36 count fabric, but look how cute. It comes with the floss. It comes with this. The chart tells you the colors on the back, but I am super pumped to stitch these and add them to a little berry bowl. I'm going to insert the photo right here of how they had it displayed in the store. It had like this wood scoop and then some wheat stalks in it. I thought it was darling. I mean, I was all about it. So that is my haul this week. And I'm sure that I bought other things. Oh, I know I did. It's not here yet. That'll be next week's haul. Okay, I realized I forgot to share. I wanted to mention this because I think it's important. We are about 6-7 weeks away from the finishing video. The problem with that is that by the time we are finishing our SAL, things may be gone from stores. Maybe not everything. And I know not everyone wants to shop exactly like me, and I don't have the finishing piece, so I'm not exactly sure how much I'm going to need. But I like to pick up things and then I store them in totes by season for finishing or decoration. It doesn't have to just be for finishing. A lot of times you can tuck picks like this into some other floral greenery or whatever, but I thought these would be perfect for the top of the paddle for finishing. These are actually from Hobby Lobby. I found these after the other stuff I'm going to show you. I personally absolutely love these. Do I think I need this many for my finish? No, but I'm going to finish a couple of you guys's, and I want to offer the finish just like mine. So I picked up multiples. I will tell you, this is Easter. It was not on sale yet. These were $5.99, so $6 each. These were not on sale yet. Spring Shop is on sale, Valentine's is on sale, but Easter wasn't. So give it a couple weeks. These were, there weren't a ton of these when I got them, but I really, really like these. So these are Hobby Lobby. That's one thing. The other is Michael's, and these were on sale a while ago, but I don't know that they were now. I did get them. I used a coupon. Some other fun things that I found. Whether they are used for the finish or just to decorate around, who knows. These are some little bunny bait. I thought they were really cute. Little picks. So this is a idea. These are $4.99 each. But again, Michael's usually has coupons. I used a coupon. I did pick up one of these because I thought he was cute, but I only got one. It's another little decorative pick. Obviously, it's a bunny. He was $4.99. And then I have another bag full too. I got some of these Easter egg picks. I thought these were kind of fun. They were the right color scheme. I may use them for another finish. I'm just giving you guys some suggestions for when you're out shopping, things to look for finishing your own. And then they also had some cute carrots. Oh, let me show you. I picked up this greenery too. I thought this was pretty spring greenery. You can cut it apart, but I picked up quite a few of these greenery pieces, and I throw all of this in a bin, and then I can shop my own stash to finish. I got these too. They're like a little pale blush pink. I thought they looked kind of pretty with other things. And then Michael's had these fabric carrots. So they had these cute gingham. They have polka dot. I think I got gingham and polka dot. And I got plenty of these too. So just some suggestions for finishing things. I wanted to mention this in case you guys are out and about at your local craft stores. No, this is way too much stuff for the little finish. I know this. You would not need near this much. I picked up a lot of extra just in case, you know, I help my friend finish or for finishing a couple for the giveaway I'm going to do for you guys. So I hope that inspires you. That's just the rest of my haul there, a little Michael's and Hobby Lobby. Okay, let's talk giveaways. This has been very long tonight, so thank you. Had a lot to go over. I have still not heard from the Stitch Quarterly winner. I had picked another winner, not heard from her. So Lori Eden, if you are watching this, you are the winner of the Stitch Quarterly. Email me. Otherwise, I'm just going to throw it in and I'm going to do a new giveaway for it next week because I just going back and digging through the old videos and all of that. So anyway, one more week. I'm only giving 2 weeks from this point on. So it's been 1 week. I'll give it one more week to see if she emails me. The other winners did. Thank you, ladies. I did not get them sent out. Sorry, they'll go out Monday. Okay, last week's winners. Number 1 was Stitching with the Housewives, Truckin' Along May. That goes to Sherry W. Pony Lover. If this is your comment, email me at my email down in the description below and I will get that out to you. Number 2 was B is for Bees from Twin Peaks Primitive. That goes to D. Johnson. D, please email me and I will get that mailed out to you. Number 3 was the January stackables from Fat Quarter Shop. It's the chart, and then the Classic Colorworks floss, I know it's backwards in here, is in here to do this. That goes to Tiffany Meadows. Tiffany, if that is you, please email me and I will get that to you. Number 4. I had 2 winners for the Antique White Ada. Letha I can't say your last name, I'm so sorry. Letha C. and Joanna Groover. If these are your comments, please email me and you'll get a beautiful package of Ada. And number 5 was the 14 count white chocolate Ada, and that goes to Cindy Feibig. So Cindy, please email me. And that is last week's giveaway winners. Okay, this week, I forgot to get one thing out, but you can just go with me and know you're going to get it. Let's go over a couple of things. So thank you again last week for mentioning who your favorite designer was. This week's question that I would like you to answer is, have you ever been to a stitching retreat? I have not been to a stitching retreat. I've been to many, many other craft retreats for paper crafting. My goal this year is to go to a stitching retreat. I think I have one I'm going to go to. I'm excited. So we shall see. When I know, I will let you know. My goal is when I go to a retreat, I really do want to take a class. I want to take a class from Kathy at Hands On Design. That is like my number one. I love how she finishes things, so I really, really want to take a class from her. And I'm sure there's others I want to take classes from too, but that's like right now, that's my number one. But I would really like to go. I would really like to stitch with you guys. So I would love to know, have you been to one? Do you want to go to one? If you haven't been to one and you have no interest, you can let me know that too. Just kind of tell me if you like to go to them, or if you're a serial, retreat goer, or whatever the case may be. I just want to know like your experience. Give me your tips, because I'm looking to go to at least one this year, if not 2, because I think it would be a lot of fun. So let me know all the things, and if I were to have something, it would be small. Keep that in mind. Let me know what you're looking for in a retreat. I would like to know that too. Tell me all the things, okay? So that is the question. Please be a U.S. resident. Please be over 18 so that I can ask for your address. I would appreciate it if you like or subscribe, but you don't have to. And then my last thing that I hate that I have to say, spammers be spamming. I haven't had much trouble here on my channel as of late, but I do know it's the giveaways that cause the majority of the problem. Not always. I've had it on some of my other videos as well, but I have noticed it on a lot of the videos I've watched. I've seen a lot of my favorite Flosstube. I watch a lot of Flosstube. It's my TV, because I don't watch a lot of TV. I have seen a lot of you gals saying that you have had that going on, which I know a lot of my viewers who've been with me a while know that happened here too. Just always know I am never going to message you in a comment and say to message me on Telegram or whatever it is. They are very tricky. The only way I announce giveaway winners is right here, and I ask you to email me so that I can send that out. So please don't believe it. Please don't respond to them. Don't respond to the guys who are asking to get to know you. You know. Be safe. Be safe out there, okay? I hate that I have to even preface that. All right. Number 1, this is mine. March month to month from Stitching with the Housewives. I am not going to stitch it. It is the pattern only. I did take the floss out and I used some of it for something. So pattern only, but I am going to throw in the sticker, and the sticker is what I forgot to get out. So if you want this and the coordinating sticker, I gave away the February one already. This is number 1. Put a number 1 in the comment and leave a comment for anything that you're interested in. 1, 2, 3. Don't put hashtags in front of them if you can. I would appreciate it. Where do you think the other pattern went? Oh, there it is. All right, number 2 is the Shannon Christine in the Air. This is the perfect time to stitch this for February. So put a number 2 in the comment if you are interested in Shannon Christine up in the air. And number 3 this week is Shannon Christine Hunting Season, which is this Darling Easter pattern, number 3. So 1, 2, or 3, and that is it. Okay, I know this was a lot. Let me know your thoughts about the SAL. Gather your supplies. I am excited to do our Stitch With Me's again. Even if you're not stitching that, come hang out with us. I know I have some of my card makers who just come hang out. They don't stitch, and I am here for it. I love it. So definitely gather your supplies. I have a handout. I'm going to insert that right here. This is the handout that I made, or handout, the graphic I made with the breakdown of what we're doing. I'm going to go this way. So check it out. I do have this in the Facebook group, so it's easy access. You can kind of see the schedule of the events and all of that good stuff. I will post it on my YouTube page as well. If you don't do Facebook, I understand. I don't do Facebook a lot. I do it for this group. It's a wonderful place. I did add moderators this week. I had a spammer get into my group. I don't know how. Luckily, one of my friends caught it and reported him, and I was able to block that person out. However, I did then add her and another good friend of mine, in fact, Karen and Shari, thank you, agreed to be moderators of the group, and it has been a blessing and will be a blessing going forward, just to have more eyes to make sure that it remains a safe space. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Have a fantastic stitchy week, and I am excited to see you guys next week. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new Flosstube stitching or quilting video. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.